January 28th, and Bodhi has been off of medication now for about 3 days.
Instead the possible.
I will.
You probably have a couple questions, and don't worry, when I started this, I also had a couple questions. So we're going to dive into that. What did I just watch? Might be a good question to start off with. The answer is Bodhi. That is Bodhi. Bodhi being recorded by his mother, Susan, who is on the background of this stream, and Corey, who is his stepfather. And we're going to get into all of these people, but we should start at the very beginning. The Schofields had another child before Bodhi named Janie. And Janie was a legitimate schizophrenic child. She had symptoms of schizophrenia very early on. Some people to this day kind of debate it might be autism and not schizophrenia. But the end result was Janie got strutted out in front of Dr. Phil, got strutted out in front of Oprah Winfrey, and Susan started up a 501c3 called the Janie Foundation to collect donations for, I guess, children with schizophrenia. I happen to have those clips, and we're going to watch them.
400 is?
A cat.
What kind of cat is 400? Is 400 a good cat or a bad cat?
A cat.
Tell me who 80 is.
My friend.
Yeah. Is 80 a friend that I can
Wait,
meet,
Russian
or is
cats.
80 a friend that just you meet?
I can meet.
Just for you?
Okay, so there's like a weird thing, and this is kind of one of the reasons why people think it's autism and not schizophrenia, is because if you listen to the nickname she gives all her imaginary friends, they're usually like numbers, and people speculate that that's a kind of autistic asphyxiation.
What you're seeing here is what we call a flight of ideas. It's an inability to get a thought or an idea and stay with it. That's why you see, I want to see the dog. I want to make a sandwich. I want to have cookies. No, I want sandwich. No, I want cookies. I want sandwich. Cookies, cookies, sandwich, cookies. I've just been trying to keep up with her and talk to her for about 20 minutes, and I'm sweating. Hey, Jenny, you want to go check the cookies? All right, let's do it. Perfect.
Oh,
Jenny,
look
these
at
are
that.
perfect.
They came out perfectly.
Okay, you want to let them cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's Joey?
Joey the dog just wandered off. You want him to come back?
We'll see him.
Okay, he'll come here. I'll have him bring him. At times, she would just wander off. This time, she went looking for Joey the dog. Eventually, we brought Joey back in the room so I could try to get her to focus as best she could.
Yeah, look at that.
What is Kalalini? It's your own world? When you have your other pets, like 400 the cat, do you ever pet 400 the cat? Or is 400 the cat mean? Who's 24 hours?
My friend,
Yeah, how old is she?
16,
Oh, she's older than you. Yeah, is she a nice girl?
and 80's 15.
Yeah. Are they nice?
Yeah.
What do y'all talk about?
400's 9,
409.
and Wednesday is 3.
Wednesday is 3.
Yeah.
So what do you talk about with 24 hours? Do you guys tell stories? Do you,
We play
yeah? What do you,
Chase Midnight.
you chase midnight? Yeah. Who's faster, you or 24 hours?
Hers faster.
She's faster? How come? Because she's older?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does 24 hours look like?
Brown hair.
Brown hair? Tell me why you like to rub your hands together like this. You know why you like to do that?
Cookie?
I would love the cookie. Jenny? You know, the rapid hand moving, it's just something that she's always done. I think it's kind of a stim, you know, it's a release of energy. She does it when she's happy.
She's been at times very focused and at times kind of wondering, is this fairly typical of her
Yes.
level of functioning right now?
Yep.
I appreciate you giving us this time today and letting me spend time with her. Well, thank you for coming. I'm so proud to meet you.
So that was Janie, and this kind of kicked off a big storm because her parents really, really liked the attention she got. This is another video that hopefully NPC will actually want to play.
I heard you drew me some pictures here. Can you tell me what these mean?
That's a cat 400.
That's a cat 400. Is he like a friend of yours or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's actually the bad friend.
He's the bad friend. Where does he live? Where does he live?
He lives in California. They all live. They all do.
How many people live in California? How many? Are they all people or all animals or what?
All in Sycamore.
And Sycamore. Sycamore a rat? Or cat? Oh, that's a cat for sure. I can see that. And 24 hours. Who's 24 hours?
She's actually a person.
She's a person. And she lives in California too? Now, where is California?
Well,
Where is it?
I can't tell you
Why?
because Wednesday lives there and she's the worst one.
What is she?
California is on the border of my world and your world.
Meaning this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in chat are already kind of saying autonomously, because I don't know how many of you people actually read the thread, but chat's kind of clued into the fact that she doesn't really exhibit the symptoms of schizophrenia. Anybody who's used the Kiwi farms knows what autism looks like, and they know about many fictional characters and a fictional world, and talking about interacting with those fictional characters in that fictional world. It sounds really familiar to a lot of us. Schizophrenia, especially at an early age, is very discombobulated. Schizophrenic children have trouble formulating sentences, but it's really clear watching Janie talk that she has a very solid understanding of her fictional entities and is happy to tell people about it. She also, if you notice with Oprah especially, she had trouble committing eye contact with Oprah. She had the same issue with Dr. Phil. So a lot of people speculate that the original diagnoses were wrong, and Janie herself does not have schizophrenia. But it's a little bit too late for that. Janie is on a plethora of very hard antipsychotics that are usually reserved for mental patients in their 20s and older. These kids got hooked on them very early. Janie was hooked on them in her teens, early teens. And Bodhi even younger. So let's take a look at that. This is, by the way, after she made these appearances on Oprah and Dr. Phil, she opened up the Janie Foundation, a 501c3, which reported $360,000 of income in 2015 alone. So they're making a lot of money off of this. But with Bodhi, it's even worse. So somebody from the forum went ahead and made this timeline, and we're just going to go over the medication he's been on since he was born. Now, I'm not like a doctor, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know a whole lot about antipsychotics. So keep in mind, all I know is secondhand that this is a lot of medication that's usually very inappropriate for people this old. We start off in 2011. At this point, Bodhi is only like 3 years old. Almost 4, and she puts them on a regimen of Benadryl. By 2012, when he's 4, she puts him on Risperidol. In 2012, he goes on Haldol. 2013, he is officially on Thorazine, which even as a layman who knows very little about mental health, I know that Thorazine is not a drug that you really want to mess with, because it is designed to mellow you out, make your lows very low or very, very close to the mean, so you don't really feel anything. The word Thorazine zombie gets kicked around a lot. People are already freaking out in chat. This is slide 1 of 7. So we go to 2013 again. He is now on Ativan and Benadryl. In 2013, by the end of 2013, he's on, or September 2013, he's on lithium, 600 milligrams. Same month, she puts him on an additional 12.5 milligrams of Thorazine. By December 2013, he turns 6. And in January of 2014, he's on Seroquel. Midway through 2014, he's on Zyprexa. July 2014, he's on Zyprexa 20. I think she upped the dosage from 2.5 milligrams to 20 milligrams. Next month, she puts him on 80 grams of Geodon. Same month, she puts him on lithium. She ups his Geodon by the end of the year from 80 milligrams to 100 milligrams. She puts him up to 200 milligrams of Benadryl by November 2014, and by December 2015, he turns 8, and his Thorazine is increased, I believe. 2016, he's on Geodon of 80 milligrams. By January 2016, he's on 600 milligrams of lithium. Jesus Christ. Which, by the way, I should mention, I think at some point she points out that he's gaining weight. But again, as a layman, I know that lithium makes you retain water weight. It's a very prominent side effect of the drug. So 600 milligrams of lithium, yeah, obviously he's going to be pudging up a little bit just because of water retention. Same month, 2016, puts him on Benadryl on top of the Geodon, on top of the lithium. And then Thorazine, same month. By March of 2017, he's on Vyvanse, 40 milligrams of that. Same month, puts him on 50 milligrams of Thorazine again, 20 milligrams of Geodon, and 200 milligrams of Lyrica. Ups the Geodon to 80 milligrams, ups the Lyrica to 600 milligrams from 200 milligrams within 2 months. And this is where it gets crazy. This is why the thread started, and people are like, this is wrong. Again, we're halfway through. We're in 2017, and it gets worse by 2019. April 2017, Thorazine up to 100 milligrams. July 2017, puts him on something I'm not seeing yet, clozapine, 25 milligrams. Ups the clozazine to 75 milligrams, ups the clozazine again by November 2017 to 250 milligrams, ups the Thorazine the same month to 250 milligrams, it keeps him on Benadryl apparently, ups the clozapine to 300 milligrams, and then by January 2019, he is on 350 milligrams of clozapine. Now, in January 2019, where we're at now, she puts him on 750 milligrams of something called Depakote and ups his Thorazine to 300 milligrams. So, the poor kid is on so much stuff. I don't know half of these medications. I just know you probably don't want them in your children. Uppers, downers, and antipsychotics. There we go. We got a good slushy of medicine. I don't know who the doctor is, but I do know that she shopped around for one. Apparently, she visited 50 plus doctors to get the current slushy of prescription medications for early onset schizophrenia, starting in a child as young as 4 years old. I'm going to show you some videos as we move along that are pretty sad, given this context, because it shows that at one point, Bodhi was a little bit different. But I should explain, the Man and the Dr. Phil episode that we just looked at was, I believe, Michael. And Michael is the biological father of both Janny and Bodhi. So he was also apparently a huge piece of shit. And give me a second to throw these up there because I want to show you some comments that were made by Michael that people find objectionable. And we'll just read through these real quick. Okay, so Michael admitted in his blog to shaking Janny, which is the schizophrenic girl, as an infant because she wouldn't sleep. Someone referred to as Jen commented on the blog post addressing the issue. When you shook Janny with impotent anger at 2 months old and then did not take her to the hospital following the incident, how long did you live in fear of her dying and you being prosecuted for murdering her? A month? 2 months? Michael replied himself with, first, what does impotent anger mean, Jen? Think about those two words. They are the opposite of each other. Impotent is feeling without power. It was a bad choice of words on my part. Janny did not sleep after the first week of her life. We could never get her to sleep for more than 20 to 30 minutes at a time, 24 hours a day. Friends of ours would complain about having to get up every 2 hours. Hell, we would have loved that. Janny's pediatrician had no answers for us. Janny was thriving and hitting all her developer markers, so we survived by taking Janny in. That ended prematurely. And from Michael's May 2nd, 2009 blog post, he rages about his rages and violent anger. I have had to recall a memory of once trying to throw Susan out of our moving car because I was so angry. Janny saw some of my violent rages. She has seen me hit her mother, and her mother hit me back. This was once in the About section of Michael's blog, but it ended up linked to the Furious Seasons mental health blog, authored by an investigative journalist, in an article titled Father of Girl with Schizophrenia Admits Hitting Starving Girl. He then removed it from his About section and removed other pieces of information from his post. This can be verified by multiple people who have taken screenshots of the original About section and saved everything Michael has said on his blog on their computers. We've tried everything. Positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, hitting her back. I won't tell you how many times people told us that all she needed was a good beating. We took all her toys away. We gave her toys away. We tried starving her. We did everything to try and break her. Nothing worked. But the following quote was apparently still on Michael's blog when the screenshot was taken. The violence became so bad at times that Susan and I both lost it and hit Janny as hard as we could. We hit in impotent rage. And one final quote. One of the criticisms of our story that bothers me the most is the question, if you knew there was mental illness in your family, why did you have children? Or the slightly different but essentially the same question, if Janny was mentally ill, why did you decide to have a second child? I have answered both of these questions before. I don't like them because the unspoken implication of those questions is out and out eugenics. The question Janny and Bodhi's right to exist, and by extension, the right of all those afflicted by mental illness to exist. Cancer, heart disease, and diabetes have congenital components, but that doesn't stop those who have risk from procreating. Partly, this is because the cause of procreation is not generally subject to a lot of thought. A man and a woman have sex, life is created. In other words, not all of us are planned. In a post-contraceptive world with 7 billion humans, we have the luxury of Monday morning quarterbacking whether we should have allowed such life to be created, but the fact remains that such considerations are generally not in the forefront during the act that creates life. And we should be grateful because without biologically driven randiness from mom and dad on a Saturday night, none of us would exist. How many of us owe our existence to a couple of glasses of wine, a few beers, and the miscalculation of mom's reproductive cycle? The point is, life is tenacious, so questioning the existence of a person after their creation is as pointless as lamenting the rising sun. It's going to happen. And it doesn't change our responsibility to the living. It's not an excuse not to help. It gives no moral superiority. Yeah, that's right. You're not off the hook because you decided to have children. My children are your children, and your children are my children. I am responsible for your children, and you're responsible for mine, caused by the simple reality that we share the same society. But I digress. So that's Michael, and that's basically him just admitting that, yes, he and Susan are both mentally ill. They decided to have kids anyways, even after the first one was a little bit weird and needed schizophrenic medication. And I'm sure having a second wasn't at all inspired by the fact that they got on Oprah and Dr. Phil as a consequence. Michael wrote a book. He was maintaining a blog all throughout the Janny situation. And in 2015, he has an affair. He gets caught and he goes off to Minnesota after a divorce, leaving the kids with Susan. So Susan hooks up with her new husband, Corey, who we're going to get to talk about. And they all move into a new apartment in California. Janny sleeps in the bedroom of the one-bedroom apartment. Susan, Corey, and Bodie, the boy, all sleep on mattresses on the floor in the living room. So Susan and Corey began posting a lot of videos on YouTube, and that basically became their life. They were vlogging about Bodie's condition and posting a video a day, a Facebook post here and there, sort of engaging people and trying to stimulate, I would imagine, trying to stimulate donations for their foundation, which of course would enrich themselves. And that video that we saw, I'll get to, is an example of something that they would post. And there are many examples of videos they would post to try and show people how bad their kids' mental illnesses are. So with all that out of the way, we are now caught up. We are at our current situation, which is what's been gathering a storm around her. Now, I've showed you with the medication timeline that Bodie's medicational status has gotten severe over time. And the effects on the boy have also been quite severe. So, let's see. Let me show you a video of Bodie in 2017, July of 2017. So you got this on. Okay.
Bodie, look at mommy. Mommy, look at mommy.
There.
Do you want to go to the bagel place? Bodie. Bodie, do you want to go to the bagel place? Yeah. Yes.
The bagel place.
Okay, well, say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, good. So right now it is July 27th, and he just got 100 of Thorazine. This is 100 of Thorazine, and if you'll recall in my book, well, like I said a long time ago, 100 of Thorazine for Bodie is not that big of a deal. And he had his 25 of Clozaril, so we're still waiting to go up on that, but the good news is that we should be able to go up next week. All right, come on, Bodie. We're gonna get ready to go to the bagel place. Can you look at me again? Look at me. Just look at me. Good boy. Good boy. I love you. I love you. Say something. Say something. Anything.
Anything.
Okay. Well, he did.
So, you might have noticed something. Yes, he's obviously, and again, this is with him on Thorazine and Clozaril and all this other crap, but he's obviously bouncing around. He's doing stuff. He's interacting. When he responds to a command, there's a little spark in his brain that wants to stay alive. The video I showed you at the beginning of this with him on the toilet, he's burnt. He's not even saying anything. He's like staring up at the ceiling, just completely fried. People keep calling him a potato. Well, in that last video, he's a baked potato. He's gone. A lot of people suggest that his brain, because it was hit with all these hard medications so early on, it's developmentally, it's arrested development. He's never going to develop correctly. And people think because of these older videos that he had a chance if they didn't do this. So you know she's talking about the video. She's like, "Oh, look at him! He's bouncing around, making noise, acting like a child or something. It's unbelievable. We need to get him some more Thorazine. Only more Thorazine can fix this problematic behavior of walking around talking. We need some hard drugs for that." Well, don't worry. If you're very worried about Bodie getting his medication, I assure you, Mama got him hooked up just fine. This says, here is Bodie 15 minutes after getting his medication.
It's Thursday. Bodie's just waking up. Yes, I just gave him his meds. So what is it, Bodie? What were you saying? What were you saying? You get scared of what?
I get scared of control system.
The what?
Control system.
Why do you get scared of the control system?
Because it's a robot.
Well, problem solved. No more bouncing around acting like a child anymore. That shit's gone. We are now in Thorazine 250 milligrams, Bodie. That don't gotta worry about any more childlike behavior after that. Let's watch one more video. I have 3 lined up for this.
Bodie, I am going to prove once and for all that you can talk, okay? Now, yeah, exactly. Okay, what's in there? What are you looking for right now? Do you want it or not? Do you want candy or not? You have to look at me. Okay, Bodie, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you want candy or not?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to say, I can talk. Come on, no, Bodie, you need to say, if you want the candy, you need to say, I can talk. Okay, then I'm not going to give it to you.
Talk.
What do you want me to do, Bodie? Because, you can man for a lot of things. What? Say it clearer. Open it, please. Okay, I'm going to open this for you.
Well, I think there's at least one crazy person in that video. I'm not too sure that it's Bodie, though. You might be asking yourself, why is she screaming? Well, that's a great question. She's screaming because people on the internet, that horrible, horrible place known as On the Online, told her that she was damaging the psychology of her child by putting her on super mega heavy psychoactive drugs. And she's like, they were even specifically pointing out that Bodie could no longer talk. He couldn't speak anymore. And she decided to prove them all wrong by manically screaming at her child to demand words come from his mouth, to prove the haters on the internet wrong. It didn't work. You can tell in those videos I showed you, the first one where he was running around the kitchen happy, making squeaky noises. That was, I want to say, July of 2017. The video where he gets more drugs is, I think, the next month. And then that video that you just watched was November 2018. So the difference between Bodie running around squeaking and having fun was just a year. Just a year and a half, basically. And it's really sad. Now, this isn't the first time that she appears to be the worst one in the video. I'm going to show you another video, and again, for this, I'm going to throw up this disclaimer. I am showing this video because she showed this video, and she had it on her YouTube channel until she deleted it. And I promise you, by the end of this video, I will explain why she deleted it.
Let's see, what day? August 23rd, 2017, and Bodie's taking a shower now. Bodie, do you like taking a shower? Do you like taking a shower? Is it fun? What? What was that? That's right, you're taking a shower.
So that video was to show people that Bodie was capable of showering independently. And she just bursts in there with her camera and starts recording him. And needless to say, people did not handle that well. There was a swift vitriolic reaction on on the YouTube channel for it. Why would you film and publicly publish a video of your 10-year-old son in the shower? This shows you have zero respect for appropriate boundaries between yourself and your children. Just because you have special needs children, it doesn't eliminate their right to privacy, dignity, or respect. What on earth were you thinking? Somebody replies, awful, isn't it? This woman has no parenting skills. We can only hope the children will be removed from her care in due course. The original poster also adds, I'll be reporting this video to YouTube as it violates several standards, including child nudity. I encourage others to do the same. It is incredibly sad that it takes corporate standards to parent more appropriately than Susan is capable of. And it just goes on. And this is the kind of stuff that she would get on her channel that would make her kind of become angry and violently address Bodhi and say, Bodhi, prove the haters on the internet wrong. And there are dozens of videos like that, which I've backed up. If you go to the forum thread, the Kiwi forum thread on it, that I'll link to in the description, I have an archive of all the videos that she's put up. None of them show like nudity or anything. It's just a constant thing. And one thing I want to show you, I'm gonna pull up a video that I showed you earlier just to point out something.
Can you tell me who 400 is?
Oh, it's the Dr. Phil one. I have to pull up Firefox for that. Okay. I want you to look very carefully at a certain point. Okay, she is on the right-hand side in the purple. Oh, let me close it so it doesn't obfuscate chat. She's on the right-hand side in the purple. Just watch her real quick. Everywhere that kid goes, she's just hawking them. Like, her eyes never depart from that kid. She's like a vulture in a way. Like, Dr. Phil's looking at her too, but it's just the way that she looks at him. It makes me uncomfortable. And like, especially when she's next to like Dr. Phil and she's next to like producers on the set, it's really obvious that Janny's interaction with normal people and Janny's interaction with her mom are different and unusual. And there might be a reason for that. Let me... Ooh, where do I want to take this? There's two directions I could take this from here. Okay. Let's go the sad direction. We're just gonna go right into it. Right into it.
Janny, are you playing with your daddy again? Are you playing with him again? It's June 22nd. It is what day? A Friday. And you're telling him all kinds of stories. And
I'm not.
Okay. Well, what story did you last tell him?
That I wouldn't break the bleeding.
That you were having what?
I wouldn't have a breakthrough bleeding.
You guys say it slower.
I wouldn't have a breakthrough bleeding.
Okay, because you had just started your period. And then so you weren't having it. So what happened then? I don't understand. What did he say?
Said it was.
How would he know you were if he's in Minnesota? You're playing with your dad and you know it, and you're making him do these. You can't do that, Janny. That's called lying, okay? And then that makes him, go crazy.
I'm not lying.
The last thing we need is for him to go crazy, all right?
Okay.
Well, Janny, talking to your biological father on the phone again, are we? That's no good. We can't have that. Okay, so let me throw these up. It was after this point that we saw in the video, because people in the forum are crazy and weird. They like to do investigative stuff, right? People pulled up, did CSI Miami, pulled up stills on this video, trying to figure out what's going on with her arm. This is the best picture I could find. If you notice, it's not just the lighting, I promise. Her left arm appears red, like it's sunburned. And I don't know, maybe it is sunburned, but Because Janny had been talking to her father during this time, he suspected that there was physical abuse. Now, her father is the same Michael that talked about how he and Susan would beat her and starve her. So maybe he's a better advocate for witnessing like Indian rug burns than a normal person would be. Skin rash from medication, it could be a number of things, who knows. But somebody who, like I mentioned, there's a lot of people involved directly in the story who are actively participating on the forum, and one of them is a character called Rosa Rojo, and I'm pretty sure that people who either know Michael or maybe even Michael himself, I really don't know, made this post. The mandates reported was someone at Janny's school. Janny told this person what Susan had done to her and why. Upon visiting the home, Child Protective Services worker claims Susan was acting very erratic, changing her story multiple times. She also tried to downplay the redness by trying to justify why Janny didn't want to talk to her dad, which we all know is a lie. Janny talked to her dad daily, sometimes multiple times per day. There was no way she would abruptly stopped unless she was being threatened and had her phone on lockdown by Susan. Janny denied saying that Susan had burned her when interviewed by the Protective Services worker. What to make of this remains unseen. And don't make fun of how I said the name Rojo. It's clearly a Spanish name. Come on now. Yeah, she's a teenager. She's a late teenager. She's like 16 or 17 now. So let me introduce you to one other thing. Oh, I'm sorry. There is more to talk about with the DCFS, I think. Is this in order? Okay, let's read this as well. Because it's on the topic of Child Protective Services. Paste. I don't want to reveal too much about what Michael is doing, but his attempt to get Child Services to assign an independent doctor to evaluate Janny and Brody got shot down. Janny and Bodie got shot down. Apparently, Protective Services can only order an evaluation if they open a court case and take the kids into custody, which they don't have enough evidence to do. The problem is Rizvi. As long as Susan is following Rizvi's orders, she is legally protected. Bodie has an appointment on January 2nd with a new Kaiser psychiatrist because Rizvi is so backed up he can't see Janny or Bodie. So he puts Bodie on a potentially dangerous drug that no other doctor would prescribe and then can't see him. The only hope is that Protective Services is going to get the Jan 2nd appointment to share their and Michael's concerns. Not that I expect much to change with Kaiser. So Rizvi is the doctor that she eventually ended up with that was willing to prescribe harder and harder medication for the child. And this is on January 2nd. This person, again, I'm not totally sure who they are, but the people involved in moderating the thread have made sure that they, like, I've seen one person posted their birth certificate to prove who they were, which I guess is hardcore dedication to an internet forum verification tag. But on the 2nd, that appointment got moved to the 14th. Michael will be there, the father. Unfortunately, Child Protective Services will not because she will be on vacation. So our government hard at work, everybody. And this seems that people are speculating that it is a intentional kind of misdirection on Susan's part. Let's keep pushing the data around. Let's keep screwing with things to make sure that whatever Michael is trying to do doesn't happen. She's obviously very spiteful of Michael to the point where Janny talking to her own father sets her off on some kind of manic fit. But let's look at the stepfather. And I don't want to say too much because this could get me into trouble. I'm just going to let your minds do the work. People hold a particular opinion on the forum that I'm not going to reiterate because I already have enough problems. So this is Schofield Productions. This was her YouTube channel where they were posting all the Janny and Bodie videos. And I think this is Corey, the stepfather, replying. You people are the ones throwing stones while being armed with no real information. One person's diagnosis is not the end-all, be-all of that person. They are different. They respond differently. Bodhi's autism is different from mine. Since I have been here, their improvement has been incredible. Bodhi is finally on the correct medication. Janny is improving in school. She will be full mainstream by next year or her junior year. She's already on 4 mainstream classes with a B in each. Bodhi sleeps through the night, and again, I tell you, you only glimpse a small portion of our lives, and you overreact, and many times, your overreaction is many times funny to us. We are under constant scrutiny by Child Protective Services, and they are tired of coming out for false reports against us. Their word, not mine. That's where we are, doing much better than the 2 years prior. So that's his claim regarding the health of the children. And this was another YouTube comment from Corey, obviously, because he signed it. Bodhi has a blood draw every other week. Just because his official diagnosis isn't schizophrenia doesn't mean he doesn't have it. Certain diagnoses prevent certain services, so we keep it the way he is. Now, this is a strange admission that he intentionally keeps his kid either diagnosed or misdiagnosed or undiagnosed because there are certain things, I guess government aid, I have no idea why in particular, he doesn't want his kid to have a proper official diagnosis. It's just strange to me. But there's a straight admission from that. And then there's this picture that people insisted that I show. People look at this picture and they're like, he's very handsy with Bodhi. And keep in mind, from what they've explained, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. Janny sleeps in the 1 bedroom by herself. And then the 3 of them, the boy, Susan, and Corey, sleep together on mattresses on the floor in the living room. And that's it. It's something that I was legally required by the Kiwi farms to cover this. I'll let you come to whatever you're going to come to based on that information. And he moved in 2 weeks after they met. I did not know that. I know that they got together rapidly. Like after they met, they remarried very quickly. One final post about Child Protective Services. This is ongoing, so this is kind of like breaking in terms of what information I can give you regarding this situation. This, again, is from Rosa Rojo, which I think is somebody who knows Michael, the biological father. The psychiatrist appointment has been rescheduled a second time. According to Susan, Kaiser rescheduled it. It's now on the 28th, in person at an actual office with no Skype involved. The good news is that Child Protective Services can now attend as he/she will be back on vacation. The bad news is that Michael, who has already booked a ticket out there for the 14th, probably cannot attend. He confronted Susan about the date changes, suspicious about her doing this on purpose. She denied it, then threatened him with court action for not following doctor's orders in regards to giving/not giving Bodhi Thorazine while Bodhi was in dystonia. And I guess visibly shaking means that Susan was visibly shaking as she said this to him. Janny is a vegetarian. She has been for many years, if not all her life. Her diet consists mainly of macaroni and cheese, French fries with cheese sauce, veggie fajitas, and some potatoes, vegetable hot dish concoction Susan makes on occasion. Throw in ice cream, chocolate cake, Starbucks frappuccinos, and occasionally potato cakes from McDonald's, and that's the well-rounded lineup of food in Janny's diet. Two more pictures that I get to read, and these are quite long, so let me get a sip of water. Okay. So, this requires actually some explanation. I mentioned that she went to Dr. Phil, right? So we've seen that clip like twice now. She really likes media attention, right? So when Dr. Phil, egged on by Michael and co, invites her back onto the stage to talk about Bodhi's situation, she happily accepts. And right before this stream, I want to say on Monday, February the 11th, 2019, I think she went to Dr. Phil. And because we're the Kiwi Farms and because we're a very large forum of very weird and dedicated people, I'm happy to say that even though it hasn't aired yet, somebody went to the showing and saw it in person. So let's read through the first-hand account from Keep Hope Alive. Oh, that's a lovely name. Michael start again. Michael was on first, and he owed up to leaving the kids with a humility when juxtaposed to Susan's batshittery was an easy home run. He did a great job not sounding like a bitter ex, just concerned about the kids and Susan's inability to co-parent. Susan did exactly what we expect, and Phil punked her like we thought. They started with the story of Janny, but it was short and we saw no new video of her. Susan came out the gate swinging at everyone. She tried the I'm an advocate, and Dr. Phil said, we don't need you to advocate like that. She brought up Lanza and Sandy Hook and guns, and Phil told her schizophrenics are less likely to commit violence than the general population. And to stop making that connection, because that's not advocacy. Phil said she went to 50 doctors to get Clozaril. Her response was that because the Godfather trained the shrinks, and because of that, no one would prescribe it. She went on to insult Dr. Phil for not knowing enough. The audience laughed at her, and there was a lot of laughter throughout the recording. Phil brought up the videos and showed the toilet one and parts of the cheese stands alone. So if Dr. Phil can show it on goddamn Oprah Network, I can show it on YouTube. Phil brought up the videos and showed the toilet one and parts of the cheese stands ones, focusing on batshit asking, I guess that's her nickname, focusing on Susan asking Bodhi if he needed meds. When Dr. Phil went after her about asking him as if Bodhi was qualified, she tried to say, well, Janny says, but got cut off. Phil made it clear even he wasn't qualified to determine what medication. He made it very clear he thought the videos were pointless and exploitative. Sophie was almost hostile to Susan and gutted her when she started ranting about the bad mental health care system as a reason she had to film. Sophie slayed her with, but you weren't filming the mental health care system on the toilet, were you? He said that 3 times SmackDown. She admitted that the video was wrong. Sophie made it clear that Susan was the problem and she needed to deal with her stuff because it was affecting her ability to parent and that her videos were exploitative. Dr. Phil told her she needed help. Corey, the stepfather, came on and wasn't received well because he's a fucking dumbass. He tried the but you don't know and acting like he knows more too and trying to punk Michael, but he wised up a bit as the audience groaned in all the right places. Because of the lighting and where I was sitting, he looked more like a Neanderthal than ever. At one point, he looked out at the audience, assessing his waning stardom. He tried to quiet Susan a few times. At one point, Phil said, Corey, I think you're the voice of reason in this situation. And I almost jumped out of my chair screaming and wanting to vomit all over him. I think Phil was just placating and setting a trap for him to look more stupid, as if that's possible, and he fell into it. At the end, Phil said he'd help with all evaluations if, and only if, she took down her YouTube channel. She immediately, without hesitation, said no. Then Phil said goodbye and walked off the show. They all looked around like, huh, except for maybe Michael. Then Corey took after Phil and security followed him out the hallway to where we couldn't see. Then Susan left the stage and got booed and Michael got cheered. A few minutes later, Phil came back on stage to talk to the audience about what had gone down. Michael joined him. He received word that Susan and Corey wanted to come back. After some bullshitting, Corey said he would ride roughshod over Susan, and the audience groaned when he said that, and take it down by this afternoon, and it was down before I got home. Phil said she would sabotage all efforts if she was still posting videos, and he wasn't down for that backlash. After his offer was accepted by Susan, he told her not to sabotage this. No one spoke the words MPP, but it was on the screen as a comment on YouTube, so it got snuck in without having to take ownership of it. Nice. I don't know who MPP is, I'm sorry. No mentions of Kiwi Farms. Aww. Just that there was a lot of online concern for these kids. The audience left with the same concern. I'll remember some more tidbits and write more of what I remember later, but that's the gist. Edit. Bodhi's over-medication was discussed, and Phil said he was stunned, absolutely stunned, that any doctor would prescribe Clozaril for Bodhi or anyone that young. So now we are back to the very start. That first video I showed you of Bodhi on the toilet had this comment on it. The name of the video was The Moment. And the comment for the video, the description was, "This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Bodhi is totally off his meds, nothing at all." So that toilet video was 3 days after she took him off all medication at the request of Dr. Phil. And the kid on the toilet is not the same kid that you saw bouncing around in the living room acting like a kid. But he's making noise. And the video that she put up was sorry, she didn't take him off medication at the request of Dr. Phil. It was somebody else, one of the doctors, before the Dr. Phil showing, because obviously she still had her YouTube channel up. But the video she put up of the boy not on the medication is almost like him returning to normal. He's not drooling. He's not looking up at the ceiling, barely alive. I mean, his brain is completely shot, but you can tell that there was something in him before she fried him. And her video trying to prove that he needs his medication is basically him just sitting on the toilet having a shit for the first time because he's so constipated from all the things he's on, and just kind of looking happy and making noise. And she's like, look, look at how broken he is. He needs his Thorazine. And it's very sad. There's one other thing regarding that. This is before the Dr. Phil showing. But this is from Susan regarding Bodhi's medication. Dr. Sophie said that we will need some medication prescription for Bodhi until we can get to Dallas. He is still not sleeping at night, and melatonin, Benadryl, even Vistral and Ativan do not work. So I'm going to give him Thorazine only at night unless I hear differently. That is the only medicine he will get, and I'm logging it with Maria and Lynette. I don't know who they are. Bodhi's ABA therapist. He will not receive any medication in the morning or afternoon. Also, Corey and I are waiting for a call back from Anthony so we can move forward with a psychiatrist because currently we are without one, Susan. So immediately after being told, don't put your kid on medication anymore, he doesn't go to sleep, probably because he's feeling feelings for the first time in years. And he's like holy crap, I feel things. I can witness and evaluate things in my peripheral for the first time in 2 years. This is awesome. And she's like, oh, mommy needs to get some sleep. Have some Thorazine. Have some extra Thorazine. It's just like, you ever see those videos of people who get like eyesight or hearing for the first time? Like they install a cochlear implant so that somebody can hear for the very first time, and they cut that thing on and it's like that. And people are looking around and they're crying because they can hear for the first time. It's like that. That's how I imagine Bodhi. Like she takes him off those meds and he's just like, holy crap, I can think and feel things for the first time. This is amazing. This is incredible. And then just immediately, put back on the Thorazine. Go to sleep, kid. Mom needs to sleep on the plane ride, and I can't deal with your ass. So you got to go back on the zombie meds. Sorry with that. And that's it. As I said, this is the developing story. This has been going on for quite some time, but with the help of Dr. Phil and the biological father of these kids, who now appears quite humbled by this situation, there may be hope to save Bodhi, or at least what's left of him. So, thank you for joining me, I suppose, on this very depressing tour. I hope in general, I hope everything turns out okay, or at least as well as they can. And with that, again, the forum thread on this is so big, it's twice as big as the next most popular thread for this month. It's getting all sorts of traffic, it's getting normie traffic, which is why I've kind of toned this down to a level where most people can understand what I'm talking about, and not making it too specific towards my audience. But yeah, sorry it's not that funny. I wish it was funny. I wish it was just about the crazy lady screaming and stuff, but it is, it's very sad. And with that, I have an outro song picked. I have it picked somewhere. There it is. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And if you want to support the thing I do, the streams, I guess, I have a little crowdfunding platform set up again after my untimely demise on Patreon, if you care to. So take it easy, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Things that just maybe we're supposed to be a little bit crazy. Can it be we're really this mentally diseased? OCD, narcissistic, manic, depressive, slit your wrists, hyperactive, ADD, generalized anxiety, drug addicts, agoraphobic, panic attacks. We're all just so sick in the head, need medicine quick. Got us stuck up on prescription slips, had a breakdown of a nervous kind. Pop a little Xanax to unwind. Paranoid schizo half the time, bipolar and borderline. Way fucked up when it comes to sex. Shit, dick, cunt, that's Tourette's. Stay in bed, we're too depressed. Post-traumatic stress effects. Bulimics, barf, anorexic, starve. Fast food binge inside our cars. Multiple personalities, like hi, it's I, myself, and me. We got tricky till the maniacs and autistic brainiacs are insane to the max. So doped up on Prozac packs, histrionic plus delusions, tangled dendrites, mad confusion, klepto, narcoleptic, false psych boards, so antiseptic. Take your Zoloft pack, so Wellbutrin, symbol to homie, what you using? Ativan and Lexapro, don't act like you do not know. Did you ever think that just maybe we're supposed to be a little bit crazy? Can it be we're really this mentally diseased? Did you ever think that just maybe we're supposed to be a little bit crazy? Can it be we're really this mentally diseased? As I stare at an ink blot, thinking why I think the thoughts I think, paying 20 G's a year straight to my shrink to analyze me on a couch. And while he's zoning out, I'm tuning in to my inner child. So that explains why I get wild on the weekend, drinking no tomorrow, sleep around to ease my sorrow. And it all relates to what happened in second grade. I am told there is a name for what is wrong inside my brain, and that fact alone makes me feel like I'm hardly that insane. I've undergone psychoanalysis, my dreams all full of fallacies. Psychotropics I imbibe, so happy to be prescribed. What I get from Pfizer's not much different from